In today's video, I'll be going over a $5,000 per month strategy for New Year's on Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing and Audible ACX. What is going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Dane, and on this channel I talk all about self-publishing books on Amazon, on entrepreneurship, and just lifestyle in general. So if that kind of thing interests you, make sure you subscribe, drop a like on the video, and hit the notification bell so you know when I post new videos. In today's video, you saw in the intro, I'm going over a strategy for Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing and Audible ACX that can earn you $5,000 or more in the New Year months on the platform. So with this strategy, it's gonna be a three-part strategy, plus I'll be talking about a bonus area at the end. We'll be going into detail about some of the niches that I like to get into for New Year's, the launch strategy I like to do, and then finally some tips and tricks to apply to your publishing business to optimize and take full advantage of the New Year's months. So without further ado, let's jump into my computer here. I'm gonna be talking about all of this three-part strategy plus the bonus one at the end in my computer on some slides here. So let's jump into it and get going with this. So first things first, we're gonna be talking about part one here. As you can see, we're going into a couple of niches that I like to get into when it comes to the New Year months in order to take full advantage of Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing. And a lot of people like to think that Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing is kind of dead during the new year, just because during Q4, everyone spent all their money on Christmas presents, all the holiday stuff like Thanksgiving, all that stuff. People think that the New Year months is when people just take a break. And while this is somewhat true, there is a huge market for people who are looking to buy books that are New Year style books. So let me talk about some of the niches that people like to buy during the months like January, February, and even March. So let's talk about it. So looking at these niches here, the first one is fitness and workout books. This is pretty obvious because everyone during the New Year months is always setting their New Year's resolutions. And the most popular one for that is usually losing weight or fitness orientated stuff. So getting yourself situated into a fitness/workout niche with a couple of books in there is a very good strategy in the beginning. On top of that, dieting books and just like cookbooks in general are also very, very popular when it comes to the New Year's months. Definitely when it comes to Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing. There's a couple in here I'll talk about that are more Audible focused, but when it comes to these first two I'm showing here, the dieting books, cookbooks, and then fitness and like workout books, those two are generally more KDP orientated, especially cookbooks, because you can't really have an audio focused cookbook. There's pictures in there. You can't really do that on Audible. Fitness and workout books can work on Audible, but tend to work better on KDP. So like I just mentioned, healthy cookbooks. There's obviously baking cookbooks and stuff like that. Those don't do as well during the January months. They do a lot better during Q4 holiday season. But when we get into January and February, in the New Year's, people like to get the healthy dieting books. So those are the ones that are really popular on KDP. On top of that, self-help books, things like mindset, motivation, meditation, stuff like that is also very popular. And these kinds of books do very, very well on Audible from what I found during the New Year's month. So not only are we hitting paperbacks and ebooks with these top few ones here on KDP, we're also hitting audiobooks with our self-help books. So if you can get one book per each of these niches ready for Q1 next year, January, February, March, you should be in good shape to take full advantage of the New Year months. So let's look at some examples of these books that fall within these kinds of niches. So first things first, I'm going to show you a book that I've talked about a few times now on the channel, but it's just a very good example of a workout style book that is not very difficult to make, that does very, very well during Q1 of each year. Looking at the sales graph for this book over the past year, you can see right here in like February, especially in January, this book definitely tops out. You can see the BSR ranges around 10,000, even 5,000 on some days, meaning that this book is making a lot of money during Q1. So that's a great sign for us to take into account when it comes to picking a type of book that's going to do well during Q1 New Year's season on Amazon. So these kinds of workout books do very, very well if you're looking for a kind of an interesting book, especially if you're passionate about this kind of thing, to create a book for and get ready for Q1 and New Year's. As mentioned, I also talked about healthy dieting books, healthy cookbooks. This is just one example of a good keyword that falls within that niche, diet. You can see this one already is doing very, very well. The average BSR is at 50K. Anything that's below 100K is usually selling quite well and making quite a bit of money. So for this to be already at 53,000, just think about during the New Year in January, February, March, how low the average BSR for this entire keyword will be. Especially looking at these top sellers, like this one right here has 277 reviews and its current BSR is 7,000. And if we look at the graph here, 1 year, you can see during, this actually hasn't even been out for very long, so I can't even show you what it would be like during the January months. But if I scroll down here, let's see if I can find one that was published 2 years ago. Okay, let's check out this one. So as you can see, right as soon as Q1 hits, you can see it's very low during the December months in Q4, but as Q1 New Year's hits, this book does very, very well, getting up into the 10,000, 7,000 BSR range, meaning it's selling a lot of copies per day and it's making a lot of money, especially at the pricing that you're looking at here. Paperback for $14.90 or for $14.49. That's a pretty high price paperback on Amazon. So the profit margins are also very high for this style book. Finally, one last example here is just a meditation style book. And like I said, meditation, motivation style books usually do a little bit better when it comes to audiobooks instead of doing paperbacks and ebooks. So looking at this page here, you can see sleep meditation for women. It's just an example of a keyword that would work. And these kinds of things do well during Q1 as well. Moving into part 2 of this New Year's strategy, we're talking about launching your books. So once you've picked a niche, once you've picked a few books that you want to make for Q1, for New Year's, let's talk about the launch, because that's obviously going to be the main part in when it comes to getting your books selling and earning you income. So looking at this, aim to launch these books if you make them mid to late December at the latest. Okay, and this is because you want to get your book on Amazon, you want to get it ranking, you want to get it some reviews before the first month, January, comes around, so that once that month comes around, you can promote it with Amazon ads and get sales, and you have that social proof coming from the reviews on the book. If you were to publish it in January, you're going to be backpedaling the whole time trying to get those reviews on the book, while you're also wasting time because January is flying by. So you want to make sure you get that book live in December at the latest so you can get it established before so you start to promote it during the Q1 months. And like I just said, this will allow you to get 10 to 20 reviews before running ads to these books. Make sure you get them ranking first or second page before lowering your ads budget. So what I see a lot of people doing, and it's kind of a mistake, is they will just run ads for maybe a week, and if it doesn't make them money, they'll just turn their ads completely off. And this is a big mistake. You want to make sure that you're running ads, even if it's unprofitable, until your book is ranking on the first or second page for one of its main keywords. So if you're doing 100 workouts, try and get that book on the first or second page for 100 workouts before you stop running Amazon ads or before you lower your budget for your Amazon ads, because you want to get that thing ranking solid on the first or second page so you can get those organic sales. So keep in mind, you may need to break even during the first month, so maybe December when you launch that book, just so you can get that thing ranking for the January, February, March months. Moving into part 3 here of this New Year's strategy, I just want to give you guys some extra tricks and tips when it comes to taking full advantage of this. So one thing that you can do is publish similar keywords under different pen names with different content, of course. So one thing you can do, if the DASH diet, for example, is a very good keyword, you could publish one book under this pen name and then another book under this pen name. So you can have 2 books about DASH diet, taking basically double advantage of the keyword and selling double the books. Now, when you do this, obviously you want to make sure that DASH diet book number 1 has different recipes than DASH diet book number 2. And you don't have to use 2 different pen names. You can make a part 1, a part 2, whatever you want to do, whatever strategy you prefer, you can do that. But try and make as many books as you can about those keywords, because then you can take full advantage of them. And if you go the route where you have the same author and you're going to do like part 1, part 2, part 3, make sure you take advantage of the series feature on Amazon KDP, which allows you to join those books together so it can show all of them on one page. So people who are interested might want to buy all 3 of them at once. Another thing is to take full advantage of bundles. So if you're going to make part 1 and part 2, make sure you make a part 3 that is a bundle of part 1 and part 2, because people like to have longer books that are bundles of 2 separate books. And finally, this is simple but effective, I need to say it, make sure you're interested in the topics that you're choosing. So if you have absolutely no interest in these kinds of dieting books or anything like that, the effort is just not going to be there when you go to make those books, and the quality is going to suffer. So make sure you have a slight interest in whatever of these niches here that I talked about earlier, or other niches that fall within New Year's style books that would be popular at that time. Make sure you have an interest in them before you go ahead and spend a bunch of time making them, because those books are going to suffer and the quality is going to suffer if you don't like making the book about it. Finally, the bonus part that I want to talk about here is Amazon ads as a whole. So as mentioned briefly earlier on, be sure to start running these in December if you can, just so you can get your books ranking on the first or second page by the time January rolls around. Your budget does not have to be as high as it usually is in Q4, since there's so much people spending money in Q4 and the competition is just insane. So during Q1, your budget does not have to be as high as it may have been during Q4, which is nice, but still prepare for some competition depending on what niche you're going to be in. What I've found in the past when it comes to these New Year's style Amazon ads ASIN, so product targeting Amazon ads, have done very well for me in the past. And I don't know what it is, but it seems they stand out during January, February, and March. For whatever reason, they do very, very well. So guys, that is pretty much it for my $5,000 per month strategy for New Year's on Amazon Kindle Publishing and Audible ACX. If you haven't yet, make sure you join my 100% free Facebook community. It's the first link in the description down below. And when you join that group, you're going to see pinned to the top of it is my 5-step guide to getting started with self-publishing. So if you're brand new to self-publishing and you're looking to get into this and it's sparked an interest, you don't know where to start, this is the perfect place to start. It's 100% free. You can join the group. You can ask any questions that you might have. There's experts in there, including myself, answering questions all of the time. So before you leave this video, make sure you click the link down below. It's the first link in the description. Join my Facebook group and I'll see you in there. Anyways, guys, that's it for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you subscribe, drop a like on the video, and hit the notification bell so you know when I post new videos. Try to post new videos every other week about self-publishing, online entrepreneurship, and just lifestyle in general. So if that works for you, I'll see you in the next video.